everybody. I am so happy to see you today. Thank you so much for coming back and seeing me and Desi. I so hope you had a good, safe, fun week. And I wanted to say thank you to so many of you who left such beautiful comments on my video last week about forgiving ourselves. Those comments will be with me the rest of my life. I learned so much from you, and I hope that we can revisit that topic when the dust settles a little bit. But today I wanted to just have a fun girls' day talking about makeup. I saw the coolest tag, and the gals were talking about their holy grail from each of the most popular drugstore brands. And I had to get in on this because I love drugstore makeup. And I have my little toolbox of how I do my makeup. And, you know, I'm over 65, so a lot of products don't work for me. But when they do, I cherish them and I love to share them with you. So today I'm going to go through 12 popular brands at the drugstore, and I'm going to tell you what I think is the holy grail of each of those brands, what I use every day and why. So I think this is going to be so much fun. And hopefully at the end of the video, I'm going to show you, me doing my makeup. But what's really fun is I'm going to show you how I did my makeup in the 80s. And I do this once a year and you seem to really like it. So let's do it again. Let's revisit 1986. But for now, let's talk about drugstore favorites. I've had quite the week, and I gotta tell you right off the bat that I had some dental work done this week, and they did what is called scaling, and they did it just on this side, and then in 2 weeks I'll have it done on this side. But this side is really sore and it's kind of swollen, so if you're thinking, well, she looks kind of lopsided, that's the reason. The other thing is that I can't run my AC when I'm talking to you, so it's like 90 degrees in here, so Lord only knows what I'm going to look like about 20 minutes from now. But we're going to hang in there together, aren't we? All right, we're going to take one for the team and go through these drugstore holy grails. Let's start out with our beloved drugstore makeup brands, and the first one I want to tackle is Milani. Milani and I don't seem to get along. I don't really enjoy much of anything by Milani. I used to love their lipsticks, but the formula is very drying for my lips. But I think Milani hit it out of the park with their Supercharger Orange Dewy Primer. This primer smells so delicious. It gives your skin the most beautiful, dewy, kind of moisturized texture throughout the day. And you feel after you use it, after you put it on, like, oh gosh, my makeup is just going to slide around, but it doesn't. It's just beautiful. And it smells like oranges. So if you don't like scents, you're not going to like this type of primer, but I love it. I wouldn't be without it. It's one of the best primers I've ever used in my life. The next brand I wanted to bring up is Physicians Formula, and they're a very good company, and I think they gear a lot of their makeup towards the mature woman. There are some things that I love about that brand. Their eyeliner is fantastic. They have a brick highlighter that is so good. It makes your cheeks just so pretty, and you can use it as a shadow or a blush. But the thing I love the most about Physicians Formula is their Spotlight Foundation Booster Primer. I love this. This is so high-end. And I mix it with my foundation, especially in the summer. And it is so pretty. It just gives you such a natural shine, and it's hydrating, but most of all, it's just this clean, pretty shine that I can't seem to get anywhere else except with the Spotlight Booster, and I love it. The next brand is LA Girl, not LA Colors, but LA Girl. And there is nothing in the LA Girl line that I really like, But they do have my holy grail of foundations. It's the HD Illuminating Foundation, and this is my #1 favorite foundation of all time. I love it. And you know what's so funny about this is they have a companion foundation that is matte. I bought that, and that is the worst foundation I have ever used in my life. So I try to be very specific. This is the LA Girl HD Illuminating Foundation. It's so good. It is so hydrating, luminous, lasts all day, no polka dot pores, doesn't get in your wrinkles. It makes you look natural. I love it. Can you tell? I love it. The next brand I want to tackle is the brand Essence, and they're an interesting company from Germany. They have some very nice products. I love their Lash Princess. That's a great mascara. They have a beautiful highlighter that the ladies seem to love. I don't do well with it, but I know so many people love it. The thing that I can't live without when it comes to Essence is their eyeliner. I get it in chocolate, and it's so smooth and pretty. You know, I can tight line with it, and I can just, get a bold line or a tiny little natural line. But I love the color. If I powder my lids and I powder over the eyeliner, I get absolutely no transfer at all. But I do have to powder my lids, but that's true with any eyeliner, even the high-end ones. The next brand I want to tackle is L'Oreal. And L'Oreal and I just don't get along for some reason. I only have 2 things that are in my makeup bag by L'Oreal, and one is their fabulous eyelash primer. It's so good. I wouldn't be without it. And the other thing that I have just started using, I don't know if this is new, but it's new to me, and I've been using this for about 6 weeks, and I love it. It is an under eye concealer, but it's not really a concealer. It brightens and it depuffs underneath your eye, and it's tinted, but you need to put a concealer over it. But oh my gosh, it's wonderful. I can actually see after a few minutes the puffiness underneath my eyes go down, and you can feel it kind of drawing. So this is fantastic. I use this with my Bye Bye Under Eye. A couple things come to mind when I think about holy grails from Maybelline, and one is the Lemonade palette. I've talked about this for years. I love it. It's just the ease of one and done. I can just use one of the shadows in the palette, or I can use one and then another real pretty lid color for a little pizzazz that shines. It's just a lovely palette. And the other thing I love by Maybelline is their lipsticks. I love the formula and I love the colors. And a while back we were talking about the shade Crazy for Coffee. And it kind of caught on here. And I get emails from you, and you will say, well, I got up this morning and I'm on my way to work, and I've got my Crazy for Coffee lip shade on, and I thought of you and I wanted you to know. And I can't tell you how much that touches my heart. So yeah, Maybelline, I gotta say, Crazy for Coffee, I'm in. I love Revlon. I remember Revlon when I was a little girl, and I would watch my mother always buy their products. My very favorite Revlon product is the Color Stay foundation. If I don't use this alone, I mix it with almost any other foundation I have to give me just a little bit more coverage. So I'm in shade 250. And I get this for dry skin. I never used to like this makeup, but they changed the formula, and I love it. I wouldn't be without it. The next brand I want to talk about is NYX, and I just have such wonderful memories of when I first started YouTube, and I hardly wore any eyeshadow at all, but the palette I would always buy is the little NYX one, and instead of saying NYX, I would say NYX. I get all these hate comments like, what kind of idiot are you? It's like, I don't get it. Isn't it NYX? Anyway, all these years later, I really don't use a lot of NYX products. I do love They're butter glosses. This is old school. I think I was using this maybe 8 years ago, but they're so beautiful. All the shades, and they're so creamy. They all smell so feminine and so sweet and lovely. My very favorite product by CoverGirl is the Cheekers blush. And I love it because it's so pigmented. I love it because there's a built-in highlighter. And I love it because it lasts on my skin and it goes so well with my skin tone. There's 3 different types of quads that you can buy, but they're so wonderful. Is it a quad? I don't know. There's only 3. The next brand I wanted to mention is Wet n Wild. And I have, again, a lot of fun memories of Wet n Wild. I don't buy a lot of their products anymore because over the years, you know, I have my holy grails. So I really don't try a lot of Wet n Wild products, but they have 2 that I do buy that I love. I think the Wet n Wild brow pencils in brown and in black are the finest on the market. They are so precise. And if you have any trouble getting a shape to your brow or, you know, just drawing that definition of your brow in, I think the Wet n Wild brow pencils are fabulous, the best. And the other thing I love from Wet n Wild is their, this is the Tinted Hydrator. Great name, huh? I talked about this a few weeks ago, so a lot of you went out and got this, and I know you love it. For summer, it is fabulous. It gives you coverage, but it's so light, it's so luminous, and it never finds any, you know, fine lines or pores. Doesn't look cakey. Nobody is going to look at you and say, oh, you really caked it on today. No, it looks like skin. The last brand that I wanted to bring up is Joha. They are a wonderful makeup brand, and you can buy them at CVS. You can go to their website also. They have such an amazing selection of products. I think almost all their products feel very high-end to me. You know, I've been using their glow stick. It's so pretty. Now that it's super hot, I've kind of backed off that a little bit because I'm kind of naturally glowing a lot. But they have a bronzing shadow palette that I am loving. Now, I can only get this from the website, but I had to mention it because this is a drugstore brand, and these are coming to your drugstore. This was under $20, but everything I need for a pretty glowing summer face is in this palette. I have a beautiful highlight. I have a beautiful transition color for face and lids, and then I have a beautiful rich tone if I want to contour or if I want to use that as a blush. And then the shadows are so pretty. They look very pigmented, and they are, but they blend out like a dream. So I just think this is a beautiful palette by Joha. Most of you know that I do a thing called a look back at the movies, and that's where you suggest movies that we all watched when we were young girls, and then we rewatch the movie with our adult eyes, and then we all discuss what we see now compared to what we saw then. And I ask you for suggestions, and the two of the most popular suggestions that you have for me of movies to talk about are The Way We Were and The Bridges of Madison County. Both movies about strong, wonderful women who are passionate, who are in love with a man, and they make a decision that prevents them from being with the love of their life. Now, why do you suppose that we ladies here on this channel, why do we gravitate towards those two movies? What is it? So last week when I did the video on forgiving ourselves, I thought a lot about the decisions that we make and the decisions that we live with, especially about love and about loss. Do you remember in the movie Steel Magnolias where Julia Roberts says, "I would rather have a few years of something than a lifetime of nothing"? And that's how I feel about meeting and having a life with someone that I was totally crazy about, even though it didn't work out. I loved and I lost and I survived and I go on. That's my story. Maybe that's a lot of our stories. Wow, look at this. I thought it was gonna rain forever, but the sun is out and the birds are singing. I was thinking about that phrase we were talking about. She loved and she lost. I don't think that's possible. I don't think there is anything such as loved and lost. I think it's all a win, no matter how you look at it. Hey everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. I loved every second of it. And if you get a chance, could you just tell us, do you wear less makeup now that you are maturing, or is it about the same? And maybe if you wanted to share some of your holy grails too from the brands, that would be cool too. Please have yourself a wonderful brand new week, and when you're done with your week, come back and see me and Desi, okay? All right, it's a deal. We'll be here.